our experience is such that we experience a self, then we experience a world, and then logically we say, there is a self, there is the world, now how this world came about? Everything within the world that we see emerges or comes from a cause. Nothing is devoid of cause. We can see it. There is always cause and effect. Through millennia, there have been great teachers of humanity that made great spiritual discoveries. And they declared that this perception of the world, which is a dualistic perception of a subject and of many objects which are observed, and also of a God which is separate from everything, they declared that this perception of reality, by its very nature, is illusory or false. They proclaimed that there is a supreme reality which transcends subject and object and even transcends our idea about God as a creator. And they said that that ultimate reality is the ground of being or ground of existence of the self, of the world, and of God. This is what they declared. And they say that the ground of being or ground of existence, which is the ultimate reality, is the only true reality, while what we experience as two or as three, right, subject and object, or subject, objects, and God, is something of the nature of a mirage, is something of an illusory nature. We experience it, but reality is different. For many, many years we believed that the center of the universe is planet Earth. Later on through science we discovered that it is not so. We thought that the sun rotates around the Earth. Then we discovered it is not so. For many years we thought that the Earth is flat. Later on through logic we discovered that it is not so. Just this week I read the last version of Scientific American, the last edition. And in that edition there was an article, and in that article explicitly was written that according to the latest discoveries of neuroscience, the whole world that we experience is created by our brain. Means you think that there is a world out there. None of the above. The brain creates the whole thing. In reality, the brain fabricates both the idea of subject, also the idea of objects. It is fabricated by the brain. Our scientists say that the brain generates this idea of reality. What's the meaning of it? It's generated, it's fabricated. Means this is not the reality. We don't know what is the reality. Almost 2,000 years ago, the masters of Vedanta were making exactly the same claim. That the reality that we perceive, although it is experienced, it's of an illusory nature. It's like the flat earth. While the deeper realization shows that there is an ultimate reality which is the only cause of the apparent reality of the self, of the world, and of what we call God. And to that ultimate reality they gave the name Brahman. They also gave the name Atma. Atma means self. And they declared that Atma and Brahman are identical, are one and the same. Now, many things were said about the self, or many things were said about Brahman. But the most important thing that was said about Brahman is of the nature of pure consciousness. Similarly, it was said that Atma is of the nature of pure consciousness. But this is not local consciousness. It says the Atma is of the nature of all-pervading pure consciousness, all-pervading pure awareness. Then someone asked, what about love? Then Swami Shivananda said, love is consciousness. Okay? What we call love is nothing but pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is love, and love is pure consciousness. Right? But not what we call love. What we call love is ephemeral, is impermanent. that love, which is ultimate reality, is nothing but consciousness, and that consciousness is nothing but love. This is what Swami Shivananda taught. And not only this, but it's of the nature of absolute existence. Therefore, it is called Sat-Chit and Ananda. Absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss. And bliss is that love. Okay? And they say that the only cause of this ephemeral reality is Brahman. Brahman is the only cause of creation, that there is no other cause. And in reality, the Rishi said, Brahman alone exists, and Brahman alone is the truth. There is no other truth, there is no other existence, there is nothing else. Therefore, because they proclaimed that Brahman alone is, they taught that whatever appears as the world in reality is nothing but Brahman. Whatever appears as the self in reality is nothing but Brahman. Whatever appears as God in reality is nothing but Brahman. And that Brahman is infinite, is without boundaries. And they go on and on and on describing the wonderful attributes of Brahman. And after saying all of this, they say, after describing all of these attributes of Brahman, they say, Brahman is without attributes. There's no attributes. So first they describe all the wonderful the attributes of Brahman, and then they say, and after saying all of this, Brahman is devoid of all attributes. The human mind cannot comprehend Brahman. Actually, the Upanishad says the mind cannot go there. The speech cannot go there. The senses cannot go there. It's inaccessible. It's inaccessible. Can be realized, but cannot be reached by the mind, cannot be reached by speech, cannot be reached by the senses, but it can be realized because it's our own self. This is why. So, to live in that realization that I am Brahman, I am that all-pervading consciousness and existence, I am that all-pervading infinite love, to live in that realization, yes, this is what Mahadev just asked. How is it possible to live in the world while holding this realization of I am Brahman, I am that ultimate reality? Yes? So the answer is that this is very possible because I am Brahman. This is the reason. Right? You need make no effort at all to be what you are. Can you get this point? There is zero effort needed in order to be what you already are. The only thing which is difficult is to let go of the false efforts. The false efforts is to try to achieve what is already achieved. Yes? And when I say it, I can feel a certain peace descending upon this whole. Because it's true. Yes? We have to get rid of the false ideas like I am a man, I am a woman, I am ignorant, I am weak, I am this, and I am... This is what we need to get rid of. Yes? Can be done because whether you do or whether you don't do, you are the self. Right? Let's say that I talk to you. If I am the self and I talk to you right now, do I cease to be the self because I talk to you? What do you think? Do I cease to be consciousness just because I talk to you? And if I eat, do I cease to be the Atma? Huh? I don't. What about if I go to sleep? Temporarily, I stop being the Atma? To be the Atma means, let's say I say I. If I say I walk, right? Okay, what do I say? I walk, right? I walk means I am walking. Yes? Now let's assume there is no walking. Am I? I am even without walking? Talk to me. Yes. I am also with walking? Yes. I am with thinking? What about am I without thinking? I am. Can you see this? Yes. What about deep sleep? I am with deep sleep? Am I without deep sleep? Are you with me? Are you with me? I eat, right? I am eating. Now, no eating, only I am. Is it possible? Now there is eating. Am I? You start to get it? With or without it, I am. Now this I am is not the body. This I am is not the mind. This I am is only an indicator. It points towards what I am. Yes? So whether I talk or walk or eat or sleep or do agriculture like Mahadev does lately, or whatever, I am. Can you get this point? Now, that I am is of the nature of pure consciousness, and it's all pervading. Yes? Can you see this? Yes. Did I answer the question? Yes. Okay.